Hello, everyone. Good evening, everyone. This is a little later than I normally go live, but this is the first time today that I have been able to break away to do a live. It's been a very, very busy day here at Brutus Monroe, which is great. We love busy days here because we certainly don't want to be bored, but it was so busy here today. So I wanted to come on live and I wanted to share something new with you, a new product that I think you are all going to love. I certainly love it, and I've been playing around with it this afternoon and created something that I think is really cool. So let me know when you are here. Hello, Tyler. Hi, Candy. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Hello, Chrissy. Hello, Bonnie. Hi, everyone. All right, so since everyone's joining in, it looks like everyone's joining in kind of quickly. So I'm going to head down to the table real quick and show you what this is all about today. So today we are launching a new product. It's not really technically fully new because we used to have this in the past, and so many of you loved this product so much that I decided to bring it back. We've actually received tons of emails about this particular product. So I said, okay, it's time for us to bring it back and bring it back strong. So we have one variation of it right now, but of course, as you know, in true Brutus Monroe style, there will be other variations of it. And these are our new washi sheets. So they're washi sheets and they are strips of washi, but they're on a sheet. So this is the very first one in the new collection, and this is called Watercolor Floral 1, which may be a hint to you that there might be a Watercolor Floral 2 at some point. But this is available. We only have so many of them in stock right now because these are actually manufactured right here at Brutus Monroe, which is, I think, very exciting because we can make as many as we want in new styles that we want. But obviously, we can only make so many of them because there's only so much time in the day. But these are the brand new washi sheets, and they are an incredible price. You get 2 sheets for $2.99. That's insane. Plus, obviously, you get your you'll also get your subscription discount on top of that. So I'm not sure exactly what the price is after your subscription discount. You might have to refresh for it to show up, but it's, I mean, insane how inexpensive they're going to be with your subscription discount. So I'd grab a couple of them. So let me go ahead and show you. We're going to dive more into these in a second, but let me show you what cards we're going to make today. So I used the birdhouses, and I created these 2 cards. Hello, Beverly. With the birdhouses. So I used the birdhouses and I used the washi in 2 different ways. So I wanted to kind of show you different ways to use the washi other than just throwing the washi on a card, because we can all throw washi on a card, right? That's, I mean, I don't want to say boring, but it's boring, just throwing a washi strip onto a card. So, and also the kind of the preface of this is we all have washi rolls. I mean, who doesn't have? I mean, I think I have 4 of them, sitting right next to me. I've never used a whole washi roll. Have you? Raise your hand if you've used an entire washi roll other than just using it to tape down your dies. I don't think there's a single person in the country that has ever used an entire washi roll. So with that being said, with the new washi sheets, let me put these to the side. With the new washi sheets, let me go ahead and open up this package. You will use them all. I promise you, you will use them all. So they are sheeted, so they're already on a sheet for you, and they are already pre-die cut. So you get 2 sheets of them, as you can see here, and they're already pre-cut. And I'll show you what that means in just a second, because I'm going to grab, we're going to start on our very first card we're going to do is going to be this one. Hold on one second. This one here. So what I'm going to do to get that one started is I just simply need a piece of Perfect Blend cardstock, okay? I'm going to grab my 1 sheet of Perfect Blend cardstock, And I'm gonna move this out of the way, and I'm just gonna start washi-yinging. So let me show you how easy this is. Look. That's all you do. Hello, Ash. That's all you do. So you just take it off. And I like to do this kind of wonky. Now, if you are like me and you want to save some of this, what I would do is I would do it kind of like so, and then you can cut off this piece and save it. So you could put this right back on $2.54. I mean, my goodness, you spend more than that on coffee. I mean, I know I do. And then take this and just place it back onto your sheet, because then you can use that piece, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead, and then again, look, it's already ready to go. So I'm just gonna peel this one off, and I'm gonna do the same thing. And I'm gonna cut all of these pieces off after. What color do I wanna use next? Let's use this one. This one's beautiful. So you just peel them off, and they're already ready to go for you. So we'll peel this one off. And you can also, if you want, just peel this whole backer off, because they are die cut. They're called kiss cut, so that they are ready to go for you. So just peel this backer off, and then you have one full sheet to place your pieces back on. So I'm just gonna peel this off. You can cut it so that you can see what the, whoopsies, so you can still see the name, or just write the name on it. But just grab yourself a page protector and put that on it. Well, there you go. So there you go. So this is what they all look like when they're all cut out, and just place them back on. So we'll use the purple next. And you can do some of them straight across. You can do some of them, kind of wonky. It's completely up to you. Create your own ending, right? All right, so we're just gonna do, and I think that should be enough because I'm using this big die here. Let's add one more just in case. And we'll pop that one right there. Okay, so now I can go in. These are just beautiful, just absolutely beautiful. And I can go in. Now you can just flip this over if you would like. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna save these pieces because I know that I'll use these in other cards. So you just take it, pop it right back on your backer piece. That's all you gotta do. Put this in and I know that most of you are like me, you'll find ways to use these little pieces for other pieces, other things. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cut this side off too. You don't have to be precise with this because we are gonna die cut it. So let me go ahead and finish that off, and then I have one more that I want to cut off here. And again, you could just use this as a backer if you don't want to die cut it. Just use it just as a plain backer, 100%. So, and then these ones, the little extra pieces, I am going to just flip these over. Actually, no, I'll just cut them. Why not? Just toss them. There we go. All right. Okay. So now you can see, look at how beautiful that backer is. These are just absolutely stunning. All right, so now I'm gonna take my die, just like this, and I'm gonna place it here. I'm gonna grab just a tiny little bit of pixie tape, place that there. Let me just look on the back to make sure I'm lined up because this is a really big circle. And then place this here, and then we're gonna run it through. How's everybody doing tonight? Good? Everyone having a good Thursday? It's almost Friday. And if this sells out tonight, don't worry, we will make more. We will eventually make more. So now I'm just gonna peel this off. You just wanna be very gentle, obviously, when you're peeling it off. Because pixie tape is super, super gentle. And there we go. Now we have, look at how beautiful that is. So simple, so easy. All right, let me put my die to the side now. And now what we need to do is we need to put this whole thing to the side, and we are going to grab, it would look great washied, wouldn't it? It certainly would. All right, so now I'm going to grab my stamp set because we are going to use this little birdhouse right here. We're going to use both birdhouses today, but that's the one I want to use right now. Gonna grab my Misty, and I already have my stick and stamp mat in it, which is fantastic. And I'm going to grab my piece of Perfect Blend, place that right in there. Grab my birdhouse, pop that right in the center because we are going to die cut this out because we have dies, so why not, right? So let me pop that down. Actually, I'm going to go run and grab the dies real quick because they are still sitting in my tray over here. There we go, because I will need those. All right. Yeah, the rain boot yesterday, this is the one we did yesterday. It's finally dry so I can send it out to somebody. But that was the rain boot from yesterday. All right. Now we're going to grab our ink and we're going to ink this up. Yes, Washi. I'm actually going to do one of the projects tonight, I'm going to do some paper piecing. That's my plan. Oh, and it looks like there's somehow a hair got onto the stamp. Okay. And luckily, since I pre-made these cards, hello Penny, since these cards were already pre-made, I'll be able to send them out. 4 cards in orders tomorrow. That's exciting. All right, so let's peel this off of our stick and stamp mat. Pop this to the side, and then I'm going to take my heat tool. The ink does dry very quickly, but I always say when you're going to use an alcohol marker to make sure that you dry it off, because the alcohol marker, no matter what alcohol safe ink that you're using, alcohol marker safe ink that you're using, you will, you can still run into smearing. All right, so there we go. All right. All right, so now we're going to use 2 different markers, 2 Olo markers, Vintage Blue and Blueberry, and Globe Thistle and Concord Grape. Okay, so those are the 2 we're going to use, and I'm going to put a piece of scrap paper underneath just so that I don't have any bleed through onto my mat here. And we're just going to color. So we're going to start with our lighter shade. And I'm going to do all of my coloring in this direction because we're going to pretend that the light is coming from this direction. So this is where our shadow would be naturally. And when you're coloring with alcohol markers, you don't have to worry necessarily about the way in which that you're coloring. I just do kind of hashes, and then also I'll just go gently around. But as the ink gets saturated, you'll see that it will become very solid. So it makes it much, much, much simpler and easier to color. So I'm just going in, and you generally want to give it, like 2 good coats, but it really will just kind of even itself out. It's kind of self-leveling, so to speak. And again, we're always kind of moving in this direction until we get our entire house colored in. And again, this is very, very, very simple. This circle is actually going to be colored the same color, so we can just go right on in. We're just going to use the darker shade up towards the top. But you'll see as it begins to, and you can even, if you get a little bit over top of there, it's not a big deal because, again, you are using a darker shade. So you don't have to worry about it. And plus, really, the weathered look is what you want for the birdhouse anyway, right? I mean, in my opinion, I like a weathered birdhouse much more. All right, so we're going to add some color right in there, and we're going to give it a second to kind of set up. But, the more color that you add, the deeper the tone is going to be. So now I'm going to go in and I'm going to color our shade right here that's going to be darker. So I'm going to color in this inner piece of the birdhouse just a little bit darker. And then I'm going to color in this little piece right here. I love the Olo markers because they have this nib on them. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to add some deep shading right here. This is probably going to scare a lot of folks because it's very deep, but I promise you that this will lighten up as I add the lighter color on top. We're going to talk a lot about coloring in my class that's coming up. So if you haven't, I think there's 2 spots left now. If you haven't signed up for that class yet, it's coming up on March 11th. Go ahead and check it out. We just finished quite a bit of the product stuff. Everything's to ship out on Monday, so it'll get to you by Saturday. All right, so now you can see just how quickly that shading came to be. And again, you can add a little bit more color if you feel like you want to balance it a little bit more. But really, alcohol marker coloring is very, very, very forgiving. And there we go. Look how simple. For me, I always do light first. I know that there's a lot of talk in our world about which one to do first. I always do light first. I don't know why. I think it's something that I learned. Oh, and now I'm using the purple because this will match what we're doing in the background. I think it's something that I learned that in art school. For the 6 minutes that I was there, because I didn't last very long in art school because I was bored. Everything that we were learning, I had already taught myself while I was bored in high school. So I was like, I'm not going to survive here. I'm bored to tears. I already know all of this stuff. I already figured all of this stuff out before I got here. So, but in art school, one of the things that I did take away was when coloring with alcohol markers, and we used Prismacolors then, which I still love the Prismacolor markers, but they're harder to find now. Was using the dark first. So now I'm just going to go over from the edge with this darker marker, and I'm not going to blend these two. I have learned through using these markers which ones I need to blend and which ones I don't. So I am going to go back in and I'm just going to hit it very lightly, but I'm not going to blend, I'm not going to do a super blend. Now this will work with any alcohol marker that you have. So if you have the tri-blends, which are very, very popular, those will work with this technique. If you have any of the Spectrum Noirs, it will work. The only thing that's going to differ, the ink doesn't really differ too much. I mean, alcohol ink is alcohol ink, but what's going to differ about them is the nib on them. So I really, really, really like the nib on the Olos. It's something that I have come to love. But again, it's really personal preference. I just really, really love the nibs. All right, so now this is all done, and you can see I was very heavy-handed here, but that's okay. It's not a big deal. You can go back in if you want with a white gel pen, and you can kind of clean that up a little bit. But I'm not too concerned with it. I'm going to go in and I'm just going to add just a little bit, and that'll kind of disguise a little bit, but it's not a big deal. I don't get worried about sweat. I don't sweat stuff like that. You all know me. So I'm going to go ahead and now I'm going to call that colored. I think that looks great. I love it. So I'm now going to grab my die, coordinating die that you can get for this stamp set. And a big thank you as always to Darren, because he make sure that all of our dies fit beautifully and perfectly on all of our stamps. We're just going to attach that like so, and we'll run this through. All right. So, all right, so now I'm going to pop this out. And I just love when a die cuts perfectly around. Makes me so happy. And now we can go ahead and we're going to stamp out our sentiments real quick. So I'm going to stamp those out. We'll just stamp those out real quick with the Misty. Why not? We'll do both of them real quick, because we are going to need one for our second Second, can you interchange in the same project? Oh, absolutely. 100%. You should see, hold on, I'll show you. When I'm doing a project, I will have, well, no, I can't because the cabinet. Well, I'll have like 4 or 5 different alcohol markers that I use, all different brands. It does not make a difference. It really doesn't. And if anybody tells you that it does make a difference, it's because they're selling that marker. That's why we carry all of them, because it's, I mean, it doesn't matter. It's, you know, if you have a personal preference or it's really up to you. I mean, I've used every alcohol marker on the market. The ones that are dirt cheap and the ones that are super expensive. I've used all of them. And I promise you, I promise you, without a doubt in my mind, they can all be interchanged. Now, are some of the inks superior to others? Possibly. I mean, I wouldn't say that it's so superior that I would, you know, completely change everything to get one certain marker, but alcohol ink is alcohol ink. I've used all of them. Really, believe me, trust me, even before I owned a company, I was using alcohol markers, and I can't tell you a difference with them. I've used them all. The real thing that changes for me is, again, the nib. So if you prefer a nib that is, like a flexible nib, like the ones on the Olo, or obviously the Copic has a really good nib. The nib on the Olos, I will say though, are very similar, if not almost a little bit better than the Copics that I've used. I mean, they're very, very similar. And again, trust me, I have used them all, every single one. I don't think there's a single alcohol marker that I haven't used, to tell you the truth. All right, so we're going to cut out Home Tweet Home and Have an Amazing Day. Oh no, where is my Have an Amazing Day die? Uh-oh. Oh no. It is missing. Let me go look in the little, because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dies. And I think I should have 9 dies. Yeah. Let me go look in the bin, because it may have just fallen out into the bin, because I don't think I used it. Wait, is this it? Haha! Found it. All right. Okay. So let's go ahead and pop these on here. There we go. Run this through. Oh my goodness. Okay, so if you are interested in the washi, hi Sue, if you are interested in the washi, I would highly, highly suggest getting it in your cart, because we are already at an SOS status, which means that the amount of people that have it in their cart right now, if everybody checks out, they will be gone. So just a heads up, if you want the first batch of the brand spanking new washi sheets, now's the time to grab it. All right, so let me move this to the side. I'm going to grab my washi tape circle that I just did. And I need to grab some paper. So I'm going to grab some paper from the Sophisticated Spring Paper Pack. I used this purple before, but I don't know. Do I want to use the purple again? Yeah, I do. Oh, no, let's use this one. It doesn't really matter. It's up to you. Create your own ending. All right, so we have that. Now let's cut this down to 4 by 5 1/4. I'm going to grab my already pre-cut, pre-scored card base. All right. Oh, I put my paper trimmer all the way on the other side of the darn room. All right. So we're going to cut this down to 4 by 5 1/4. Keep your scraps. By 5 1/4. Okay. And let's go ahead and tape this up. So I'm using the Gina K tape runner. It's My fave, well, top 2. Because I like this because it's a dot runner, but my other fave is the Thermoweb XL that Thermoweb makes. And everyone say hi to Sue. Sue here, she is the product development, all sorts of amazing things at Thermoweb. And without her, there would be no Brutus Monroe line there, because she reached out to me one night many moons ago, and she said, "Christopher Allen, what's up? Let's do a line of products." And I said, "Who, me?" And we did a line of products together, and the rest is history. So you have Sue to thank for the Brutus Monroe line of products, because without her, they would not have existed. All right, so now we have our little birdhouse assembled. Now I'm going to grab some of the Thermoweb little squares here, which I love. And we're going to pop, let's do 2. And you know me, the big crafty man hands, I cannot peel these off without it. All right. It was a very, very exciting announcement, wasn't it? All right, and then we're just going to pop our "Have an Amazing Day." We're going to call that card done. And the thing is, it's hard to see on camera, but look at all the different variations behind there. I love that. Oh, there you go. You have a ride from the train station. Done. Done and done. That's amazing. Okay, so those are the 2 cards. So they have there's 2 different variations because I use different ways of washi in the back. So those 2 will be going out in some orders. So this is the next card that we're going to work on. I'm not going to use the gold this time. I mean, I like the gold, but hey, mama, I like the gold, but I don't like the I don't know. So I'm not feeling it. So I'm going to use some of this paper, which is like literally the most highly sought after paper ever. And it's going away. It's changing, but this is our Prism paper. And it is very, very, very highly sought after. So let's go ahead and so this reminds me, I don't know if you all have ever seen these or if you've ever gone to like a craft show and seen this, but I have seen it a couple of times at different craft shows where they have these bird houses. And again, I'm not sure if it's just like a thing that I saw here in Pittsburgh or if it's a thing that is, all over the place. But I've seen these bird houses where they decoupage them, and they use like napkins and all sorts of stuff to decoupage these bird houses. And I just think it's so cool. So I'm going to show you how to do this layering, and I'm going to tell you why the washi tape, the new washi tape, washi sheets, I shouldn't really call it washi tape because that's not really what it is works so well for this. So let me grab my Misty that has been so well loved. So it's got a lot of gunk and gook on it, but I'm just going to pop that on my stick and stamp mat because the stick and stamp mat will not, it won't hurt anything if it's a little dirty. Now I'm going to grab this Gigunda birdhouse that comes on this stamp set, and I'm going to show you a technique that why having the stick and stamp mat and all of this is so wonderful. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to ink this up ever so gently. It doesn't have to be fully and completely inked up because we just need a guide, okay? So we're going to just stamp this down, and that's going to give us a guide, okay? So that's all the stamping we need to do because we can see the guide of what we need. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my washi sheet. I'm going to get a fresh one because luckily I know where they're made here at Brutus Monroe. I'm going to grab a fresh one, and I am going to grab a piece. Remember, it's so easy because it's all kiss cut, and I'm just going to cut this in half. So let me grab my scissors. Where are my Brutus Monroe scissors? I know everybody's going to make fun of me. Here they are. These haven't been launched yet, but they're going to be launched very soon. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to place this like this, and then I'm going to place the other half like so. And they almost line up perfectly. It's very hard to find a seam there, and that is just the way that I designed them. So now what I'm going to do, and this is so easy, make sure that you have it into the corner, is I am going to now just ink up this portion again, and I'm going to stamp it. Now what makes this so unique is that a new stick and stamp mat, go ahead and grab yourself one. Do it. Go ahead and grab yourself one. So I am going to go ahead and ink this up. And now, as you can see, since this is a paper washi, it is not standard washi, because you know how washi generally will have like a coating on it. Do you know what I'm talking about? Since it will generally have a coating on it, your ink will not stick to it. This is paper washi, so it's sticking perfectly. So now we have the perfect thing to paper piece. So let's move this one out of the way, and now let's grab a new piece of our, we're actually gonna need 2 more pieces. But let's do our roof first. Okay, again, same exact technique. Grab your ink up your roof. Okay, that's perfect, that's plenty. And now I'm gonna grab another piece. I think that we'll go with this, I think this light lilac. Or no, let's use this one down at the bottom. All right, so let's go ahead, and now all we're gonna do is we're just going to place this like so, and then grab your scissors. I need my scissors on like a chain. Cut that, and then go ahead and place it here. And I would like to tell you that I did this on purpose, that this washi fits perfectly on the stamp. I had no idea, it just happened. But it's great when that happens, right? So you don't even use all of your paper washi to do that. So now let's go ahead and ink up our roof, and we're just gonna do some very simple paper piecing. Piecing, not piercing, piecing. All right, so there's the first piece, or the first stamping. And again, since this is a paper washi, it is not going to, it's going to absorb into the washi. It's not like the, the coated washi where it's going to, it's going to kind of pull away from it. All right, so now we have this piece, and you don't have to use full pieces for this if you don't want to. Use, use a scrap if you want to. You don't have to use, I just happen to have an unlimited amount of the Perfect Blend cardstock, which is the best cardstock in my opinion, when it comes to coloring and stamping and all of that good stuff. So I keep a lot of it nearby, to say the least. I have a whole stack of it here. So I'm gonna pop this down, and this is where we need to get our final impression. So this is the one that we're actually going to paper piece on top of. So let's go ahead and get that all stamped out. That looks pretty darn good to me. All right, peel this off, and then all in the same fell swoop, we are going to use our MISTI. Let me peel this off, I'll clean this later. We are going to use our MISTI to blend our background. Because remember, on that original card, place another piece. This is what's so wonderful about the Stick and Stamp mat and the Blending Buddy, because the Blending Buddy is what's on the outside. So you might not know this, but the Blending Buddy is here. So this protects the outside for when we're blending. So I'm going to place this piece here, right in that little void in the Blending Buddy. And now I can blend in my MISTI. So I'm going to start with Breakup Blue. And I can just place this right over here. Whoops. Let's open that up. Breakup Blue is what we'll use for the base. And it makes it so easy for you to blend because it's stuck in something. So, I mean, blend in your MISTI. Before, you wouldn't really blend in your MISTI. I mean, let's be honest, because you'd have to use a magnet, or you would have to use a piece of tape, and you wouldn't be able to blend your whole piece. But with the Blending Buddy, it is now completely and fully encapsulating the outside of my Stick and Stamp mat. So I'm not going to run into any issues with my Stick and Stamp mat getting any type of extra ink on it or extra gook. that I don't want on it, because I'm just picking up the ink from around the outside and just constantly bringing it back over to the paper. Okay? Hi, Kara. It makes it super simple. Super easy. So I'm using Breakup Blue first, which is probably my second favorite blue from Simon Hurley. And I'm just, blending in a circular motion. And I'm just adding in the color because we want it to be very light here towards the bottom. Okay, so I'll call that good. And then, because you know me, I'll blend all day long. I won't stop blending. And then I'm going to grab No Diving, which is my favorite. Well, it's my favorite deep blue from Simon Hurley, because he does have a beautiful, I think it's Clear Skies, I think it's called. But it's like a teal blue that I really love. So again, I'm just going in and I'm just blending away. So simple, so easy. I know that there's so many folks that get so nervous about blending. You don't have to. You just gotta go with it. You just have to roll with it, and you will get a beautiful, beautiful blend every time, I promise. You do. Well, please send an email to heather@brutusmonroe.com and say, will you please re-ink the ink pads? They really do need re-inked. I mean, we talk about this every single time, but I need to get re-inkers. That's the thing. I don't think we have all the re-inkers. But I mean, Breakup Blue is a very light color to begin with, so that could be a big part of it too. So, all right, so this is our background. We're going to set this to the side because we need it to dry. Remember, Simon Hurley inks do not like adhesive until they are dry. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't know what the deal is, but I think it's just because it's dye-based, just because, I'm pretty sure any ink will do that, but I don't really use any other inks, so I don't really have a gauge for that. But the Simon Hurley inks do not like adhesive unless it's completely dry. All right, so we're going to grab now our Prism paper, and we are going to grab I'm not sure the exact name, but it's one of the piercing plates. Something about flowers. Oh, I have it right in front of me. A cheat sheet. Flowers. It's just called flowers. Okay, phew. All right. And now let's send this through, because we need to get it to be pierced, and then we're just going to use a little piece, just a little strip of it. But it's always such a wow whenever you see when this comes out. So remember, the piercing plates, they just pierce it. They don't cut it. Isn't that amazing? I can't get enough of that. I really love these piercing plates. I really do. All right, so we are going to trim this down to 4. So it's going to be 5 1/4. I almost had to run it through again. 5 1/4 by 1 inch, because that's all we're going to do for our edge here. All right, so that's all we need. Just that little piece there. And you could add another piece of washi if you want. I just love the look of this. So this is how we're going to kind of start building our card. So you can see that's going to be the little piece on the edge, okay? Because this is going to get cut down too, so we might as well do that now. I know, aren't they beautiful? So 5 1/4 by 4. Yeah, the piercing plates, they just really make it so much easier. Oh yeah, right. You are correct. All right, so let's go ahead and cut this out. So we're going to cut this out with the coordinating die. And make sure it's lined up here. I'd say we're good to go. All right. Send this puppy through. And then we can do our paper piercing, and then we'll be all set. All right. There we go. Well, that's a good die cut if I don't say so myself. All right. I just love when a die really lines up. All right, so now all we have to do is we just have to cut out our inner pieces. So this piece here is really simple to cut out because it's just a square. And I mean, if I say that it's simple to cut out, it's simple to cut out because you know how much I despise fussy cutting. It's the bane of my existence. But I'll do it whenever it's going to have the outcome like this. I'll do it, okay? I will. All right, so we're almost done. So we're done with the first piece. And then you'll see it's going to line up perfectly. Let me trim off a little bit more on here because you want to trim like kind of a little bit into the black line because now look, we're going to place that on there and it's going to fit perfectly. Isn't that cool? I love it. I love it. Oh, piercing borders. We could do piercing borders. That would be fun. You're going to really love the die set that's coming out for next month's subscriptions. I can tell you that. I promise you, you're really going to love next month's subscriptions. Speaking of borders, I think you will enjoy. Okay, so I'm just trimming out the roof now. And again, it's so simple. It is just so easy. These are, I like it because these stamps are very bold visually, so it makes it simple for you to cut out the pieces. And again, like I said before, I am not a fussy cutter, not even close. So by, me being able to fussy cut this out and not have an issue, so to speak, with it, then you should be just fine. Okay, so I'm just going to cut out the last little piece of this. And there we go. All right, so now we'll just take our Gina K adhesive from ThermaWeb, which we just got back in stock. Thank goodness. It sold out, I think, twice. And we'll just place this right on here. And again, if you don't fussy cut it perfectly, it's not a big deal because you will still have that border. Because like I nipped a little bit off there, but it's okay because I still have that border from the underneath. So it's just going to piece it together very easily. And I got this idea. There was, I think Shannon did a paper pieced card. And that's where I originally got this idea from. I was looking at her card and I was like, how do I add some pattern to that? All right, and there we go. So now our little house, oh, hold on. It's not lined up. It's gonna drive me nuts. The great thing about the Gina K adhesive, since it is a dot adhesive, you have a little bit of wiggle room before it's down forever. There we go. All right, and now all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take a light brown marker. Is this brown or is this, hold on. Nope, that's orange. This is the color I want. I'm just going to take a light brown marker and I'm just going to go in and I'm just going to color in the wood. Now, if you are a super overachiever, which I'm not this evening, but if you are a super overachiever, I'm surprised you. Heather is on a craft excursion. I don't know where exactly. She's all over the place right now crafting. But that's why she's not cutting it. If Heather were here, she would be cutting it. I can tell you that. So I'm just going in and I'm just going to add a little bit of this darker shade. So if you have the Olos, I am using Golden Eagle and Macaw. Okay. And again, I'm just kind of wisping that color in. And if you want to add a little bit of shading, you can to even the washi. And the reason you can, I'll show you, is because it's paper. So see how I'm just adding a little bit of shading to the paper? You would not want to try to do this if you were using regular washi because it's not going to soak up the color. Look how cool that is. And again, that's just from using a marker, okay? And you can go in and you can add a little bit of color on the roof. And now we're adding, if you can believe it, shading to washi tape, which is kind of unheard of, right? There we go. See how we just added a little bit of shading to make it look a little vintage? Isn't that cool? All right, so now let's assemble, shall we? Let's grab another card base. This is the best thing that ever happened to me. Well, one of the best things that ever happened to me, these pre-cut, pre-scored card bases, because I can make a gajillion cards in no time at all because of the... I don't have to cut anything out, which I love. Okay. When you make as many cards as I make in a week, you try to figure out the best way to cut corners. And I don't want to cut corners on... isn't that amazing? Isn't that cool? Yes, they just came out. You get 2 sheets in a pack. Aren't they beautiful? And they're only $2.99. Or I don't know what the price is for subscribers. Someone just posted it, but that just say dirt cheap. Dirt cheap. Whoops. Oh, I didn't have enough adhesive on the back of there. Hello, my Dion. All right. Let's zhuzh that down there. All right. So now we're good. So again, you can just add just the ever so much shading to it. And again, we just used the very, very bright washi, and it's no longer bright because we used a little bit of marker. But that gives it a vintage look. And I'll show you the difference between the other one that I did and this one. Okay, so we'll place that there. And then we'll grab 2 more pop dots. Where in the heck did I put them? Here they are. I know, isn't it cool? Yes, they're washi sheets. And they're great because you'll use the whole sheet. I promise. I mean, I've used like 8 sheets today. $2.54. I mean, my goodness, we might as well just give it to you. All right, so let's peel this off. Peel this off. And there we go. So home, sweet home. Our second card is completed. So now you can see the difference between the two. So this one, I didn't do any shading on. This one I did the shading on. And again, all I did was I just took my marker and I just kind of zhuzhed up a little bit of the color. And since this is paper, it worked really well. And those are the cards that we created today. So those are 2 of them. And then here's the other 2. And again, we just used the washi. We just used the washi tape that is the washi sheets. So this is what they look like. I don't have a full pack now, but this is what we have. This is the aftermath. Here's all of my pieces. So what I did was I cut out the other one, and I just keep all my pieces. So I just keep the backer piece, and I just keep all my pieces. Okay. So you get 2 of them in your pack. They do have the Brutus Monroe info on them, so that if you want to purchase more, you can. Like I said before, I think that we are at the SOS status of them. So if it's something that you are interested in grabbing, I would make sure you grab them because although we do make them in-house, they are not, we have, different runs of things and how things are done. So that is that. So thank y'all so much for hanging out with me this evening. I'm going to go home. Yes, that is what they're like. Except the envelope wraps had fishtails on them. These ones don't. So thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. Thank you for being a part of my life. I thank you for hanging out and creating with me today. I really hope that one of y'all that are placing your orders gets one of these cards because I'm going to put them into orders tomorrow. So thank you so much. Remember to create something every single day, whether that's something with the washi, the brand new washi sheets, or your own ending. I appreciate you very much and love you dearly, and I will see you all tomorrow. Goodbye, my friends.